Hello, Steve White, Trekboy89 for Steve Arts 89. Well, I just watched the first episode of Star Trek Picard, Season 3, Episode 1. It was okay. Only a couple little issues, which were all excusable based on, like, character or story. Okay, so I had huge trouble seeing the episode. I wasn't able to view it on my TV. So Paramount Plus is a complete failure. I was not able to see the show at first. It basically just came up today, and I was not able to actually get it onto my TV screen. So I had to watch it on my computer. When I tried to use it on the app, it just said unavailable. So I could have, I didn't want to watch it on my computer. I could watch it through other means on my computer. I wanted to watch it on my screen. I wanted this to be a proper, treated like a TV show or a movie, so they failed there. Now, the episode itself was good. Now, they jumped straight into the Member Berry sort of, the music right away is Star Trek music. They've reused music from the motion picture, The Wrath of Khan, First Contact, I think the other shows as well, but mostly just the movies. So that's the first thing that you notice. Now, I'd heard that the first shot will sell you, and I'm like, well, what's the first shot? Technically, the first shot is in the 25th century, and I'm like, is that what they mean? Because that's a reference back to Star Trek 2, and, apparently Star Trek 2 is the definition of Star Trek when it's really one of the least Star Trek films, because it's all about war and revenge, and it's not about exploration or knowledge or even science fiction concepts, really, aside from Genesis, which is just a weapon. It's not really something they explore. So that's not a huge thing. And then they go to a shot of space, and it's beautiful, but we've seen that before. The first episode of Picard started off with a couple of beautiful shots of space and then some old-timey music. We go straight into old-timey music. I don't want to set the world on fire or something. And we go to Beverly's ship. She's asleep. She gets woken up by a ship that's attacking her. She's on her ship with one crew member, which is, spoilers, her son. Now, this was already spoiled for me because I was looking, while I was waiting for Picard last night, because it didn't come up last night. I was expecting it to come up last night. I was looking through the internet and I just found random clips. People clip bits from episodes, and you can basically see half an episode or 2/3 of an episode sometimes of something without even watching the episode, because there's so many clips online from different people. So one of them was titled, her son. I'm like, oh, thanks, so that's who the guy is. I kind of thought it was, but the issue is not if it's her son, it's who's the father. Is it Picard? That's the assumption, because that would explain why she ran away from Picard and the rest of the crew, because she hadn't talked to them for 20 years. If it was someone else's child, I don't see why that would be an issue. If it wasn't someone in the group, I don't know. But yeah, so she disappeared for 20 years. She calls Picard up out of nowhere. She gets attacked. Now, the only real issue I have with this episode is that Beverly just disintegrates these guys who are coming after her. She doesn't stun them. She doesn't try and do anything to trick them, escape them. She just lays in wait, and there's a firefight, and she disintegrates them. I'm like, this is Beverly Crusher, this is a healer, this is a doctor, this is someone who saves lives, just disintegrating people. Now, if she's been so damaged by things that happened in the last 20 years that she is that person now, it's not exactly an optimistic thing, but does that speak to the whole universe? Does that speak to, Starfleet? It's just one individual who may have had some bad experiences outside of the Federation. So you can't really throw the whole show under the bus for that. But that was one moment where I'm like, I don't know about that. Then we go to Picard receiving the message, and him and Lars, he's packing stuff up because he's going to move somewhere with Lars so she can be some security person or something. They spoke about positions and locations, and he basically worked out what the message was, or got into the message. And she's like, you have to help her. And he's like, it'll be a few days. She's like, or maybe more. So he found Will, he met up with him at some little bar, Guinan's bar, and she's selling little Eagle Moss Enterprises. And he asked, why are there so many Ds? She said, oh, the fat one? Nobody wants the fat one. So we got some sizeism in the 21st century, calling a ship fat, like obviously that person's going to think the same about bodies, and so that was almost funny, but we have sizeism in the 25th century, so there's an issue there. And Eagle Moss is funny. I mean, they exist now. They'd be collectibles in the future. I guess why not? Like the D I've got was there. It was kind of funny to see a toy you've got on the screen in Star Trek in the future. In the 25th century, it survived. So I guess they make them to last. Okay, so Picard and Riker talk, and they are very much in character. You do feel they're in character, and that is great because they didn't quite feel in character last time we saw them. Picard really wasn't in character in the first 2 seasons. He was out of character and out of his league and out of his depth and out of his mind for most of it. But and out of his body too by the end of it. Now Riker's very much himself. Now he's apparently Deanna is having a break from him or something, so I don't know what that's about. But again, negative. Why can't we have a couple be happy? I don't know what that is. So they work out, because I just assumed, oh great, they're going to steal a ship. It's going to be Starfleet renegades, blah blah blah. But no, they went and approached a Starfleet ship. They went to a space dock, and the space dock shot is amazing. The shot of the ship is amazing. We actually see the ship, in the light, sharp. It's not like Discovery effects where it's all blurring in the shadows and you can't really see it. The problem with that is you can tell it's CGI, but it's okay. Now, we go onto the ship. Seven is the first to command, but she is being discriminated against by the captain for being an ex-Borg. And he openly discriminates against Captain Picard for being an ex-Borg. And apparently we have bigots running starships in Starfleet in the 25th century. Not impressed with that either. I already knew this character. We're not supposed to like him. He obviously redeems himself and ends up joining the Crusade and helping them, because obviously it's bigger than just loyalty and these couple of crew members. There's something bigger he's going to have to help with. So, yeah. But, I don't know, Todd Stashwick or whatever doesn't seem like a very nice actor or character or a person anyway. I've only had one interaction with him, but he just seems like one of these actors who just plays the same character all the time, and they're always negative and dark and edgy, and yeah, so not impressed, but because all he does is, as Seven says, hang shit on them, and basically they come in and expect him to basically divert the ship for half a day and make up for it with warp, and he's like, no. And they're like, excuse me, I'm Admiral Picard, retired. I'm Captain Riker. It's not your ship anymore. So yeah, and then he makes Annika, because I'd heard that Annika, that Seven uses her name Annika. I thought, well, that's good if she feels like she's connected to who she was, blah blah blah. Some people are saying it's dead naming. I'm like, I think that's a stretch, and it's her choice. If she feels herself, why can't she leave her Borg, identity behind? It isn't that she feels herself. It's not that she's choosing to do it. The captain's making her do it. And she actually says he prefers it. And so he's a bigot. He has a problem with her being part Borg. And she feels like her career is not going to go anywhere because, her history. So this doesn't seem to bother Captain Picard. He doesn't seem to think that this could be an issue for him. But, yeah, so it ends. He stuffs them in crew quarters. They're basically on bunks. And he's really just deliberately being a jerk, which is just disrespectful to an admiral and an acting captain. Seven comes through, because she actually tries to negotiate something at the table and says, your loyalty lies to the ship, not them. And I'm like, he doesn't seem to understand the concept of loyalty. So she basically just takes the ship to the location and says, you guys have 4 minutes to get in a shuttle and get out of here, because this guy's going to wake up and see the nebula outside the window, and he's going to be up here in a minute, which he is. And he's like, yeah, you just loyaltied your way out of a career, and wants a full report. They find the ship. They find Beverly in stasis. Her son gets the drop on Will, and he lowers his gun, though, and then Will smacks him in the face, which I thought was a little uncalled for. But yeah, they get attacked by this giant ship, and the last shot is the giant ship hovering over the little Beverly's little medical ship, and that's the end of the episode. Then we have Star Trek First Contact credits over close-ups of consoles and icotograms, which oddly enough in a close-up you can see on pixeled screens. And I'm like, even like, you know, like TV screens today don't have pixels that you can see like that. So I'm not sure. I guess they're using some very cheap screens because they have to fill the whole bridge or something, but maybe not close up on them. But yeah, I'm already after past 10 minutes. So what do I think of the episode? It kind of felt like Star Trek if you look at the films like First Contact and Wrath of Khan. That sort of dark, sort of trying to be cinematic, trying not to be like the Star Trek TV series, which was sort of light and bright and fun and optimistic. So in some ways they've gotten us to, I think, Insurrection level Star Trek, but it's the first episode, so I can't judge the whole season of 10 episodes on this, not totally. But it is a huge improvement over Discovery, huge improvement over season 1 and 2, and not the mess that Strange New Worlds was, where it's trying to be its own thing, but then it keeps going back and jumping into Star Trek canon and messing with it instead of doing its own thing. This is its own thing, as in Next Generation, 20 years in the future, 20 years after the films. And it does work. The soundtrack was a bit strong, but I felt that they haven't leaned into the soundtrack enough in the past. So for me to sort of have an issue with that, but it does feel like pandering a little bit. Like, here, it's Star Trek, listen, sit back and just, get the feels. And I'm like, I did. When the when the Titan leaves space dock, the first shot, it is breathtaking. I was like, oh my god, it's actual a starship. We're going to get a sequence with a starship. It was amazing on that level, even though it does look CGI because it's so sharp you can tell it's CGI, but it's not really bad CGI or anything. It's just, that's the only that's why Discovery hides all the ships in darkness, in part because they don't have to render the ship as well because it takes a lot more time and costs a lot more money. But yeah, the ship does look ugly from the side though. It looks good from a couple of angles, but from the side it looks like a chunky mess. They could have used a bit of shading and a bit of lighting on the side shot, but aside from that, the sequence was good, the music was good. It does feel like Star Trek, but there are these couple of little issues. Is Starfleet going to be the enemy? Is this captain going to be the enemy? Is he just a jerk being a jerk and he's going to pull his head in? Is there widespread discrimination against the Borg within Starfleet? Starfleet is better than this, we're better than this. Not sure how I feel about that, but we don't know where we're going to go in these episodes. Now, so far as Easter eggs, there wasn't a whole lot. There was a few little things. The attack on one of the staff, I think it was a training centre. The Red Lady, there was a statue of Rachel Garrett out the front of this institution, and Raffi works this out, because Raffi, I have to deal with Raffi. Now, Raffi, at first I was like, really? Space junkie again? Great. But no, she's undercover. Now she's tempted because she's living in this world that she used to actually be in as an addict, but she's not an addict. So she's grown, she's strong, but she's tempted. And she does work out who the Red Lady is. She goes to that location. She believes the Red Lady is the thing that's going to be attacked, and that statue came up. Although it looks more like pink, but yeah, Red Lady. She gets there. She is messaging Starfleet. They don't answer, and before she can do anything, a beam of light appears around the institution, and it seems to collapse into the water. And then it seems the rubble seems to be beamed out of that space and dropped over another part of the city. So it's like they've cut this section out of one area of the city and dropped it on another, so you damage twice the area. So it's a huge act of terrorism. So who is this? Is this the Amanda Plummer character? Is this the other big threat? We don't know. One episode, we have to wait week by week. I'd rather they drop the whole season. It's really cruel because a lot of fans have gotten the first 6 episodes, and they now have to wait 6 weeks, until they actually get to a new episode. And we have to worry about their spoiling of the next 5 episodes. The next 5 episodes could be spoiled in the next 5 weeks for fans who haven't seen the show. So they should have just given fans access to maybe the first episode, or dropped the first few episodes in one go. So this situation we're going to be living in, where some fans know what happened and the others don't, and stuff is going to be spoiled, that's going to be arduous to manage. But yeah, 15 minutes, I'm still talking. I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think. Aside from the troubles with getting Paramount Plus, aside from the fact that I couldn't actually get the show on my TV and had to watch it on my computer screen, which is not how I wanted to watch the show, not how I watch shows I really care about and want to really experience. The show was okay. A couple little issues. Beverly seems a bit out of character, but we haven't seen her for 20 years. She's apparently going through a thing. We have some discrimination against the Borg in the Federation, at least with this ship, but the other members on the crew seem to be looking at her like they're with her, not him, so maybe he's just a douche and it's not something that's, you know, Starfleet-wide, but we will see. It's too early to tell, but it was good. It was good. On one episode, I'm willing to accept that this show is good and watch it. I will subscribe and watch the next few episodes, because I'm assuming if I set up another subscription, I'll actually be able to use it properly. I don't know what the issue is. I've got a week to work it out. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I might try and do a shorter review. It feels a bit too long. But I'm going to go now.